There's something I want to ask you directly, and I want you to think about it honestly, without judgment. It's a question that carries a lot of weight for many men, one that almost no one dares to say out loud. When was the last time your body responded in intimacy exactly the way you wanted? Without doubts, without tension, without that split-second moment where you wonder if it's going to work this time. If you have to think about it, if there's a silent weight you've been carrying, this video is for you. What I'm going to share with you today is so simple, so accessible, and so concrete that once you hear it, you'll wonder why no one told you sooner. My name is Fernanda López. I'm a urologist with over 15 years of experience helping Spanish-speaking men over 50 regain their intimate vitality naturally. Today, we're going to talk about a 60-second daily habit, just 60 seconds, using something you probably already have in your kitchen right now. It has a real, well-documented effect on circulation, blood flow, and male erectile response. Stay until the end because the second part of this video includes the exact step-by-step protocol and the mistakes you need to avoid so it actually works. But first, I need you to understand something that is the foundation of everything we're going to talk about today. Because if you don't understand this, the habit I'm about to give you will just seem like a trick. And it's not a trick, it's physiology. When you understand it from the inside, you follow through with conviction. And conviction is what makes habits stick. When a man over 50 starts noticing that his erections aren't what they used to be, the first thing he usually thinks is that it's psychological, that it's stress, that it's age, or that maybe he just doesn't have the same desire anymore. Sometimes there's a bit of truth to that. But in the vast majority of cases I see in my practice, the real issue is physical. It's vascular, and that difference changes everything. Let me tell you about Arturo. He's 61, active, married, and from the outside, his life looked completely normal. He came to my office carrying a lot of shame. It took him a while to even say the words. He told me, "Doctor, the desire is there. The urge is there. But sometimes my body just doesn't follow through, and it's affecting me in a way I don't know how to handle." The first thing I told him is exactly what I'm telling you now. You are not alone. Millions of men in Latin America and Spain go through exactly this after 50. There is nothing to be ashamed of. And in your case, Arturo, what's happening has a name, and it has a solution. What Arturo had, like the majority of my patients with this concern, was a blood flow problem. Not a problem of desire, not psychological, not a lack of love for his partner. It was circulation. And here's the key I want you to understand clearly. An erection is first and foremost a vascular event. It's blood entering the tissues of the penis with enough volume and enough pressure to create firmness. When that flow works well, the response is good. When that flow is compromised, the response is compromised too. It's that direct. It's that physical. Imagine a garden hose. When it's open and clean, the water comes out with force and pressure and does its job. But if someone pinches it in the middle, if it has kinks, or if there are deposits on the inside walls that narrow its diameter, the stream comes out weak, not because the faucet isn't working, but because the pathway is obstructed. That's exactly how circulation works in the male body. And after 50, two factors frequently start to compromise that flow in a silent, progressive way. The first is chronic inflammation, that constant low-grade state of alert that many men live with without realizing it, where inflammatory markers stay slightly elevated all the time. This inflammation affects the flexibility of the blood vessels, hardens their walls, and reduces their ability to dilate when the body needs it. And vascular dilation is exactly what's required for blood to enter, with the force needed at the right moment. The second factor is the reduction in nitric oxide production. If that name sounds familiar, it's because I talk about this molecule in many of my videos. Its importance for men's health after 50 is enormous. Nitric oxide is the chemical messenger that tells blood vessels to relax, to dilate, to let more blood through. It's the signal that opens the door. But with age, with inflammation, and with certain dietary and lifestyle habits, the body produces less and less of it. The most well-known pills for erectile dysfunction, the ones everyone knows about even if not everyone admits to taking them, work precisely by enhancing the effect of nitric oxide in the blood vessels. They inhibit the enzyme that breaks it down so it stays active longer. That's their mechanism. They don't create desire, they don't create anything new, they simply extend the signal the body is already producing. What I'm going to show you today works in a similar direction, but from a different angle. Instead of inhibiting degradation, it naturally stimulates production. It gives the body the compounds it needs to generate more nitric oxide on its own, without pills, without side effects, and without needing a prescription. And this is where something you probably have in your kitchen right now comes in. Something you would never have imagined has this effect. Cloves. Cloves are one of the oldest spices used in traditional medicine in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. For centuries, they have been used, among other things, as a natural circulatory stimulant and aphrodisiac. For a long time, this was considered folklore. But modern research has begun to understand why they have this effect. The answer lies in their chemical composition. Cloves contain eugenol, their main active compound, which has well-documented vasodilatory and anti-inflammatory properties. Eugenol stimulates the production of nitric oxide in the vascular endothelium, the inner layer of the blood vessels that regulates blood flow. It also has a potent antioxidant effect that protects those cells from oxidative damage, keeping them more functional and more responsive. And the way you consume it matters much more than you might think. Chewing the clove instead of swallowing it whole or mixing the powder into something activates the enzymes in your saliva that begin processing the eugenol immediately. Sublingual absorption through the mucous membranes of the mouth is faster and more direct than intestinal digestion. The body receives the signal more quickly and the effect is more immediate. 60 seconds of slow chewing, 1 or 2 cloves. That's the habit. That's simple, that concrete, and when you combine it with ginger, whose circulatory properties you already know if you've been following this channel, the effect is even stronger. Ginger works from a different angle, improving blood fluidity and reducing vascular inflammation. Together, cloves and ginger create a combination that works on multiple fronts at the same time to improve blood flow naturally and sustainably. Arturo started this habit, combined it with some dietary changes I also recommended, and after 3 weeks, he sent me a message I'll never forget. He simply said, "Doctor, my body came back." It wasn't magic, it was consistency. It was giving the body what it needed to do what it always knew how to do. Now that you understand what's happening in your blood vessels, why nitric oxide is the key, and why cloves have a real effect on all of this, it's time to give you the exact protocol. How to do it, when to do it, in what amount, and the mistakes that can ruin the results even if you're doing almost everything right. The protocol itself is simpler than you probably expect, and that simplicity is part of why it works. Because the habits that last are the ones that don't require special preparation, hard-to-find ingredients, or a complicated routine that gets abandoned by the second week. Take 1 or 2 cloves, no more. We'll talk soon about why more is not better. Put them in your mouth and chew them slowly for about 60 seconds without swallowing them right away. The goal is to keep them in contact with the mucous membranes of your mouth as long as possible to favor that direct absorption of eugenol I mentioned. After those 60 seconds, you can swallow them or spit them out, whichever you prefer. Most of the effect has already happened during the chewing. The best time to do it is in the morning on an empty stomach before breakfast. The digestive system is empty, the mucous membranes are more receptive, and the body receives the stimulus without competing with other digestive processes. That combination makes the effect clearer and more consistent. If you prefer to do it at night, that works too, about 30 to 40 minutes before bed with a light stomach. Some of my patients like this timing because they feel it prepares the body for the hormonal and vascular work that happens during deep sleep. Either time is fine. The important thing is to choose one and stick with it. To boost the effect 2 or 3 times a week, you can add a small piece of fresh ginger, about the size of your thumbnail, and chew it together with the clove. Not every day, and the taste can be intense at first. Start once a week and increase gradually. Your body gets used to it faster than you think. Now, there are 3 mistakes that can prevent this habit from giving you the results it should, and I want you to know them before you start so you don't fall into any of them. The first and most common is expecting immediate results. I get it. When someone has been dealing with this concern for months or years and finally finds something concrete to do, they want to see the change fast. That urgency is completely human, but the body doesn't work that way. The vascular changes, the improvement in nitric oxide production, and the reduction in endothelial inflammation are gradual and cumulative processes, not overnight. What my patients usually notice first in the first and second week isn't necessarily a dramatic change in intimate response. It's something more subtle but just as significant. More general energy, better circulation in the extremities, less coldness in hands and feet in the morning, a feeling of greater vitality that doesn't even have a clear name yet, but you feel it. Those are the first signs that the body is responding, and they're the signal to keep going. The more specific improvement in erectile response usually appears between the second and fourth week of consistent use and becomes more consistent and noticeable by the 1 month to 6 week mark. The body needs time to rebuild what deteriorated gradually. Giving it that time is part of the commitment. The second mistake seems logical, but actually works against you. Thinking that if 2 cloves work, 4 or 5 will work better. In high doses, eugenol can irritate the digestive mucosa. Cloves are a potent concentrated spice. 1 or 2 cloves per day is exactly the dose that delivers the benefit without causing irritation. More than that can cause stomach discomfort, acidity, or a burning sensation in the throat, which isn't just unpleasant but can make you abandon the habit completely. In natural medicine, more is rarely better. The correct dose is the one that works without side effects, and in this case, that dose is small, accessible, and very easy to maintain. The third mistake has the biggest impact of all. Thinking this habit alone can make up for everything else. Cloves improve circulation, and ginger reduces vascular inflammation, but if at the same time you're still drinking 2 sodas a day, if alcohol is a daily presence at your table, if you lead a completely sedentary life, or if you sleep only 5 fragmented hours every night, those factors will continue damaging vascular function at a rate that cloves alone cannot compensate for. I'm not asking you to change everything overnight. I'm asking you to see this habit as one powerful, very easy piece of a larger system. And along with it, make the adjustments you already know. Less sugar, less alcohol, more movement, more water, better sleep. Each of those changes multiplies the effect of what you're doing every morning with those 60 seconds. because the body doesn't work in separate compartments. What you do at 7 a.m. with the clove gets multiplied or canceled out depending on what you do the rest of the day. And you have control over that. Now let me give you the complete daily routine so you can see how everything fits together in a simple, realistic way. Upon waking before breakfast, your 60 seconds with 1 or 2 cloves. That's your first gesture of the day for vascular health. Then, a glass of warm water with lemon to hydrate the body and activate the digestive system. Breakfast, protein, healthy fats, no added sugar. Throughout the day, constant hydration, 6 to 8 glasses of water. Blood needs fluidity to circulate well, and dehydration thickens it. It's a small detail with a real impact. In the afternoon, if you want extra support, have a simple ginger infusion. Hot water with a piece of fresh ginger, no sugar, or with just a touch of natural honey if you prefer. This infusion works synergistically with what you did in the morning, keeping the anti-inflammatory effect active for more hours. On the days you add ginger to your morning chewing and want an extra boost, that's the day to walk a little more, 20 or 30 minutes. Walking directly activates circulation, stimulates nitric oxide production in the vascular endothelium, and amplifies everything the natural ingredients are doing inside. You don't need the gym. You don't need to run. Walking is enough. Daily movement is one of the most powerful natural vasodilators that exists, and it's completely free. What can you expect and when? With honesty and without exaggerated promises. In the first week, most of my patients notice more general energy and a feeling of greater clarity and vitality. The body starts receiving stimuli it didn't have before and responds with that hard to describe but easy to recognize sensation. In the second and third week, the first more specific improvements begin. Better circulation, more sensitivity, and in many cases, the first signs of a more consistent, intimate response. Not everyone at the same pace. Every body has its own history, its level of inflammation, its starting point. But the direction is consistent. By the 1-month mark, when the habit is installed and the body has had enough time to respond, the changes become clearer and more stable. That's when many patients tell me they no longer feel that uncertainty before intimacy, that their body has become reliable again. And that confidence, my dear friend, changes everything. Remember, this does not replace a medical consultation. If your erectile dysfunction is severe, if there is pain, or if you've had the problem for a long time without improvement, talk to your urologist. There are causes that require professional evaluation, more significant vascular alterations, uncontrolled diabetes, or hormonal problems that need specific treatment. What I'm sharing with you today is a natural, responsible support, not a replacement for medical care when it's needed. My dear friend, you don't need complicated solutions, expensive pills, or invasive treatments to start feeling the difference. You need consistency with small habits that reactivate your body from the inside. And those 60 seconds a day can be the beginning of something you thought was lost. Your body remembers how to function. It just needs the right stimuli to do it again. If you want to go further with a complete personalized plan, I've prepared my protocols. They are step-by-step digital guides with everything I prescribe to my most committed patients. Exact recipes, schedules, dosages, ingredient combinations, complete daily routines, and exclusive bonuses I don't share anywhere else. Those who already have them write to tell me they've recovered a part of themselves they thought would never come back. If you want immediate access with a full 7-day guarantee, no questions, no complications if you decide it's not for you. Check the links in the description or in the pinned comment below this video. It's a small investment for anyone who truly wants to transform their intimate health from the inside. And if for now you prefer to keep learning for free, subscribe and turn on the bell. Every week I upload new content made especially for you. Leave me a comment. I'm going to try it today, so I know you made it all the way here and so other men can see that change is possible. I'm with you in this process, my dear friend. Always. Until the next video.